Welcome back to Tales from the PowerAge. Hope you're all well. How are you doing, guys?
Hey, everybody.
You're right.
Right, tonight we're taking you all the way back to 1984. What a year that was. There was a miners' strike, which we all probably remember to a certain degree. Unemployment was at 3.5 million. Can you believe that? 3.5 million people unemployed in the UK. The fashion at the time were leggings and parachute pants. Now, Gaps has got a pair of parachute pants on. If you play your cards right, you might show those off a little bit later. It was the first Discovery space shuttle, made its maiden voyage in 1984. But most importantly, Oxford United got promoted from Division 3 with a mighty Jim Smith in 1984. But anyway, listen, we're not going to talk about any of that tonight. We are going to talk about 12 specially curated albums. Now, before we go into those, please give us a like. Please give us a subscribe. Get involved. Ring the house bell. That really helps our algorithms, and it gives us just gives us the joy of coming to do this. We love it. So please get involved. Right, we've got 12 of the best. So let's go to the Dirty Dozen, and we'll kick off with Jam.
It's me. Hey guys. This is an impossible year, but let's see what happens. I can tell you now, I own all 12 of the top 12 records that we have here today, and with another 6 of the best of the rest. So ridiculous. First record for me, Bon Jovi's debut. John Bon Jovi had been making a lot of noise in the press and the media. This was the new hope for rock music, apparently the latest one. And we were going to go and see him support Kiss in 1984. So I bought this album, got it on release, and I loved it. I thought it was really, really good. It wasn't just a pretty boy then. Had this dude on guitar, Richie Sambora, and the whole band were immense. Highlights for me, Runaway, Shot Through the Heart, and Breakout. Is a really upbeat, fun rock record. And I really liked it. And they smashed it out of the park when they supported Kiss. And I took great pleasure in going to see Kiss and being able to say to older brothers and people, you want to check out the support, they're going to be big. And as we know, they became big. What were your boys' thoughts on this one?
Yeah, well, I was there for Kiss, and they were brilliant. And then it was another one where there was something on TV. You know, in the days before MTV or any other kind of visual exposure, there was a Live in Tokyo that we videoed, didn't we? And we watched it over and over again, and they were brilliant on that too. Yeah, and I think that was after we saw them at Kiss, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
But it was all these songs. It was the songs off this album. Yeah. So yeah, that there's a good era for them. You know, they did great.
Yeah, it's a great album, and they were fantastic supporting Kiss. It's one of the best support acts I've ever seen.
Brilliant. Right, let's get to the next one.
Love at First, Sting, Scorpions. This is the album that spawned the big hit singles for Scorpions. Rock You Like Hurricane, Bad Boys Running Wild, Big City Nights. It made them million-selling, world-conquering, stratospheric rock stars. This album had everything. I mean, everything. It even had this awesome cover. And I bloody loved them. What were your boys' thoughts on the Scorpions? This record in particular.
Yes, brilliant album. We obviously all got tickets to see him on the what is going to be the 40th anniversary tour. Slightly overpriced, I think we'll all agree. But there you go. We're still all going. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I played it the other night again, just listening to it. It's a fantastic album. Really, really good.
It's a good album.
I think this is one of those records, it speaks for itself. And if everyone that's watching this is going to go, everyone that's watching this is going to have this record. And everyone watching this will know that it's awesome.
Risque covers as well, haven't they?
Yeah.
Really love it. Next heavy metal offering, please.
Yeah, well, for me, this record is, mind your turn, tuck your pants in. This is a sensational album, and only rock and metal snobs would dare to diss it, in my opinion. Gav's fashion is there. It's impossible, I dare you, not to sing along to any track on this record that comes on in a jukebox in a pub somewhere. It could be Summer of '69, which we all know what that's about. He finally said a couple of years ago, yeah, it was never about the year, it was all about the activity. Run to You is the best. Run to You is up there. It's absolutely awesome. Kids Want to Rock, but I'm not going to list every song on it because everyone speaks for itself. I guarantee that you'll know every song off of this record if you played it. And you go, yeah, I do. And you'll be tapping your foot. I've owned way too many copies of this. I had it on record, then I had it on CD. I know I bought it on tape. But for me, the 30th anniversary reissue, they did a double album, which had the actual record, which was in much better condition than my one from '84. And then it had a second album, which had live tracks, and it also had the track Reckless, which wasn't on the original record, which is annoying. The track Reckless is my favourite track off of.
Oh wow! I love
really. I didn't even know that.
It's one of my favourites. It's a really great rock record, and you can't beat it. We can say, "Oh, it's not." It's not.
You can beat it.
You can beat it.
For a rock record, when you play it and you're singing along, you play along on guitar. This is brilliant.
There's some belters on there, you know. Even
there are some belters on there.
It's only love Tina Turner. I love that track. Great.
Otherwise, immense. Brilliant.
Yeah. And he was writing for Kiss at the same time, so he is a bit metal.
Okay, so we shoehorned him into our heavy metal rock show. He actually got very close to Princess Diana a couple of years later, allegedly. So
yeah, he's a kind of photographer as well, isn't he?
Very close. Yeah. But we'll leave that there. So
talented photographer.
On to the next one. So over to you, Gav, for your first offering.
Yeah, well, I think
well, there you go.
I think I'm relatively confident. This is one of the best albums of all time, and really strikes a chord with everyone on these guys. You know, because it was their best album, the best years of our life, probably. You know, because we were going to see bands every week, and we did. We saw these guys in Oxford, and if you think about a band of Maiden stature playing a little local venue like that, playing a theatre at the same sort of time they were doing Long Beach Arena. I mean, give me a break. And it felt like it. They tore our faces off.
Absolutely.
And when you watch a band that just so in sync with each other and so good at what they do individually and as a unit, and they took that talent and made this album, because you can hear it. They all write song. I mean, when you've got a guy that does that can write Power Slave and a different guy that does Rime of the Ancient Mariner on their own, you know, that's a band for you right there, you know. And Bruce takes a break in writing for the next album, but we needed him on this album. And then the cover, you know, this is the classic time where you take it home. You know, me and Gappy took it back
to cover of all time, in my opinion.
We played it over and over and over again, learning all the lyrics, learning all the drumming, all the while staring at the cover and finding new bits with every listen, you know. And then with that, they did the singles. So we had 2 Minutes to Midnight, and again, amazing song, amazing artwork. Aces High, same thing, you know. The B-sides were good as well, including the Mission for Mary, which is classic. But yeah, I don't really need to tell anyone on listening to this pod or watching the pod of how good it is, because they know. So over to you guys.
Yeah, I can't say enough about this album. It's just, well, it's in the top 10 albums of all time, in my opinion, for metal albums.
Yep.
Yeah. And the cover, as I just previously said, it's probably my favourite cover of all time. And the little bits you find different moments in your life, it's just amazing. It's amazing. Everything about this album is brilliant.
You've covered all my notes off that I put down for this, except, and you touched on it, the fact, which is fine, but the fact that we saw them somehow squeeze their production into Oxford New Theatre.
Yeah,
it was so awesome to be down there. And if anyone wants to know a bit more, we've got a pod on just dedicated to this tour. It's one of the first pods we actually did. Actually, I think it might have been the first pod we did, because for all of us, it was, what are we going to do first? Well, that would be the World Slavery Tour. That would be Oxford New Theatre seeing I'm Maiden. And it was the way they managed to squeeze it all in. So that's the only other note I've got here, but an immense album.
Okay, brilliant. It certainly took the band to a different level, I think, in my opinion. It's a brilliant album. My only note is I've got a signed copy of this album, which I've shared on the other pod. So if you want to see that, then give it a watch.
Look at another pod. Yeah.
Yes. So on to the next one, please. Go.
Cool. Okay. Well, I've got an easy job this week, because check this out. Yeah, I trod in some magic unicorn poo this week.
Trod in some serious shit on this one, didn't you?
So, you know, again, it goes without saying, this is when Metallica really found their sound. I think they found the producer they went on to work with for another 2 albums. They started doing just epic, classic, rip your face off stuff. You know, like Fade to Black starts off as a ballad and then ends up really rocking. Creeping Death, which was the single, which we all got into later on, I guess. Blitzkrieg and I Am Evil B-sides starting to become a thing as well. Yeah, and what I like is that Lars's photos from the marquee. So you've got a little nod to England in the back there.
All the photos on the back of that are awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this is what he wanted, and this has been said before. But if you go into a record shop, you pick this up and you flip it over, and you go, "Oh God, these guys are cool." You're halfway there, aren't you? And it was the same with Master of Puppets later on. Photos on the back of that were brilliant too. But they started getting a bit more prog, thrash metal, if you like, you know, with kind of more ambitious arrangements, instrumentals, just epic, you know. For Whom the Bell Tolls, Fade to Black, like I say, Creeping Death, Fight Fire with Fire, you know, they're just epic songs. You boys?
Brilliant. I bought my copy from Shades record store in Soho.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, it's a good memory. And it's obviously an original one with the old Music for Nations label.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we've all got the first press of this one, haven't we?
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's an absolutely fantastic album.
Mine's quite knackered. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe get another one.
Overplayed. Brilliant album. If you're not got this, go and get it. It's amazing.
Did you get the merch sheet?
No.
Mine I got from Scorpion Record and Tape Exchange in High Wycombe. Because what you got to remember, and I bought it.
Mention to them.
It hadn't been out long, but it cost me like £1 because some people bought it that didn't fucking like it. Because we've spoken before on different pods about how this is a generational thing. These were metal. They were in Kerrang and that, but some people, a couple of years older than us, couldn't understand it. But I remember hearing...
It was a different sound, wasn't it? It wasn't an Iron Maiden sound. It was a very...
It was hard.
Or a UFO sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely different. And I remember hearing Fade to Black and it blew me away. It actually blew me away as a piece of music. It just... I was like, wow. And then on hearing Creeping Death and For Whom the Bell Tolls, those two are my favourite tracks off of this. Whether it's because we covered them in a band that 3 of us were in, or just because they're absolutely brilliant tracks, and I just love them. This is, for me, this is in my top 4 favourite Metallica.
Good point.
And Merchants of Grief played For Whom the Bell Tolls as well.
Did they?
Yeah.
There you go.
Everybody played it in those days.
Everyone played it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Next one.
Brilliant. Okay, next one is another classic era Dio. So I see this as a kind of a partner with Holy Diver, really. They're very similar in the way they sound, the production, the songwriting, even where the songs go on the album are very similar. But you know, in all honesty, slightly less than Holy Diver. There's a couple of weaker songs on here, but when you start with We Rock and then go into Last in Line, you've got Evil Eyes, Mystery, and Egypt. They're all great songs, in my opinion. So, yeah, my third vote for the jury is Dio, Last in Line. Over to you, boys.
Nice one.
Yeah, brilliant album. And we've had to see them as well, didn't we, on this tour, which was a really good treat. I used to love the stuff they used to do on the inner covers. They were brilliant, weren't they, with the little pictures and stuff. So, yeah, great album.
Not on mine.
Gutted. Later press, Gap.
Yeah. Boo.
You are so right, though. It literally, it was like a conveyor belt. It was a mirror. Holy Diver was massive, and it was rightly a fantastic album. This literally, you traded off song for song. Where you had Rainbow in the Dark, you had Mystery. Where you had Stand Up and Shout, you had Evil Eyes. So you had, and then Last in Line, Holy Diver. So you literally traded song for song. And this is Dio, in my opinion, his second best record. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
But it was formulaic, if you like, but the formula was awesome. Even when we saw them on the tour, it came so hot off so fast off the tail of the Holy Diver record. There was a big sort of a merge, a crossover.
Yeah.
For me.
I think it's me next. So my first offering is Slide It In from Whitesnake, and it's a great cover, right, to start with. There are more innuendos on this album than probably any other album you're likely to own,
Without a doubt.
allegedly. But it's brilliant.
Slide It In. slow and easy.
Yeah.
Spit it out.
It's weird when he's singing that with the kids in the car, and they're like, "Daddy, I don't think you should be doing that." Anyway, look, brilliant album. The sound still sounds fantastic today. Sounds absolutely superb. Cozy Powell on this album, to my mind, it's one of the best drumming performances, or maybe production. Martin Birch again, as we mentioned a few times.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Gambler, great song. Slide It In, Standing in the Shadow. Love Ain't No Stranger. There was a thing on after John Sykes had joined the band. There was a whole sort of upheaval in the band post recording this album. They showed a Rock in Rio clip of John Sykes with a band, and they were doing Love Ain't No Stranger. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. It was just rock and roll heaven. Yeah, which is amazing. And they also did. So you got a picture of John Sykes on there. Yeah, is that the 12-inch?
Yeah. Cool.
There's the 7-inch with the patch.
Yeah, I got the 7-inch as well.
Yeah, which is cool. The little patch, which is nice, which is great. And I've also got, I picked this up actually not so long ago, written Reckless Records in Soho, and this is the American picture disc. And I picked that up for a sultry £12, and I think they gave it to me for a tenner.
I had that before I had the other version, so I grew up with this version.
Yeah,
and then I was disappointed with the other version. I prefer this one. I'm sorry, I do.
I prefer the American version with Gambler at the start as well. So it's great.
Any other comments on Whitesnake? Slide It In.
I just got a few other things. Show and Tell. There were 3 singles, I think. There's Standing in the Shadow there.
Yeah.
And Give Me More Time there.
Wasn't this the record, Gav? Was this the record that we were looking forward to? Because David Coverdale went on the tube and waiting for this record to come out, wasn't it? Have I got it? The time?
No, I think that was 87.
Was it for 87?
So, yeah.
This is the record we were all listening to at Kilbrew, by the way.
And yes, you know what? Whitesnake toured this in the UK. Look at the band there, and they changed by the time we were touring it. And it's really weird. The program says a whole bunch of different stuff through the program, but we didn't go and see him. How did that happen? I don't know.
No.
So
the tour was a hybrid of the band before and the band it was going to be, because it had Mel Galley still, didn't it?
That's right.
Did it have Bomber? Or
Colin.
Did it have Neil Murray?
Colin Bomber Hodgkinson.
If I recall the videos,
you can't get more metal.
No, you can't. But if I recall the videos for these, like Slow and Easy, was it them on the stage in front of a massive stack of Marshalls?
Yeah.
I remember Slow and Easy. It's just immense. I think
that was the remix versions, wasn't it, with Johnny Sykes and
it was just
I would have loved to have seen that lineup.
That would have been brilliant, wouldn't it? Yeah. But anyway, amazing album. Gaps, anything you want to add on this one?
No, I think we've all covered it off. It's one of the greatest rock albums of all time. It's not a metal album. Everyone knows that, but it's definitely one of the greatest rock albums of all time.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, next one. This is a really important album in my heart, because this was the first gig I ever went to. We mentioned Oxford Apollo a few times, and this was a lovely gatefold. Looks great, doesn't it? And I had that T-shirt in the middle. Well, that logo on a T-shirt, which I thought was amazing. Twisted my head banging halfway through the show. But I love Saxon. I got this album, and I love the album as well. Crusader is still probably one of their best songs, in my opinion.
Love it.
Fantastic. Sounds great still today. I liked a little bit of What You Fancy as well when I first heard that as well. Set Me Free, Sailing to America, Rock City, after the famous Nottingham Rock City. Do It All For You. It's a great album. And they were brilliant live. That was amazing. They were really tight and all played in their own little way a really good part to the show. In particular, I have to probably give a big shout out to Steve Dobby Dawson, who was funny. It was amazing. I mean, some of the stuff they were doing in the sort of interlude parts of the show was just what you wanted to hear. They were just dissing Duran Duran and all the other new romantic bands, and stuff that was out at the time. Bryan Adams, all that sort of stuff, just dissing all of those. Just they weren't Bryan Adams, by the way. Sorry,
massive Bryan Adams fans.
Human League or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was brilliant. It was so funny. And as a young little heavy metaler, it was exactly what you wanted to hear, and it was brilliant.
And hearing these songs live, obviously you didn't worry, the production wasn't quite so weedy, so it was brilliant. I mean, this is the only thing that dates this album is the production, but
Yeah.
the songs are great.
They had a castle set up behind them as well, didn't they? I think there was a
Yeah, they had a castle, yeah. Everybody did back in the day.
I think Dio did as well, didn't he? Come to think of it.
Yeah. It's either a castle or Egypt. They're your choices.
Yeah, but I personally thought the Saxon Castle was easily the best. Funnily enough, just look at my Sax t-shirt. But for me, the title track Crusader it's just immense. It stood the test of time. It sounds brilliant.
Just for me on a generational thing, I think your brother Kev Jam, he told me that as soon as he heard the first little splingy guitars on the intro to Crusader, that was it for him. He hated it, absolutely hated it.
Which for us,
Brilliant.
When we're touching on these, which is brilliant.
Yeah, I love it.
He
absolutely hated it.
Yeah. So we had Metallica, we had Saxon, we had stuff going forward, and there's these guys that are going, oh, what's going on? Oh, why has it got to change? It's got to change. It's got to evolve. And I love that. I just loved that they were doing different stuff. So, and that would, yeah.
Yeah. Not sure I liked them when they started changing a little bit more. A couple of albums down the line, I didn't like it because they changed too much.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Anyway, that's my second offering. My third offering is the amazing, and if there is a more iconic album from this year, 1984, can it be anything but 1984 Van Halen? Oh my! I mean, this still sounds amazing. I was listening to Jump the other night, and of course it's on the McDonald's advert at the moment. McDonald's, you know where we are. It's amazing. It sounds brilliant, doesn't it? It's such an 80s sound, but it's not.
I haven't seen it yet.
No, I haven't either.
Yeah, so it's on quite a bit. But some brilliant songs on this. Hot for Teacher, Drop Dead Legs, Panama, of course, iconic song.
Mm-hmm.
But even the ballad, Oh Wait, I think that's a great tune. It's a little bit...
It's not a bad song on this album.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic.
I mean, the song 1984.
It's just a great, super album. And sounds brilliant. Still. Was it produced by... It was produced by Ted Templeman. I was going to ask you.
Yeah, it was.
But it's a slice of 1984 that everyone should own in their record collection, I think.
Everybody does, surely.
Super album. And it just one other fact with this, it was kept off at number 1 in the States on the Billboard 100 by Michael Jackson and Thriller. And who was playing guitar on that?
Eddie.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. That's 1984. Any other comments on 1984?
Well, I did see an interview the other day. An interview I was watching about Eddie when he was asked about how much did he get paid. He said, "Oh, I to get to play Beat It on the Thriller record." And he went, "Oh, I never asked for anything. They mentioned did I want." Michael said, "Did I want to play on it?" And I thought, "Well, yeah." He said, "But I didn't play what they wanted me to play. I played what I wanted to play, and then they went with that." And it's like, watch this interview he was just saying of course they went with it. You're the greatest guitar player in the world ever. Why wouldn't they? But for me, Jump is in my top all-time. I want to say all-time top 10 songs. It could be in my top 5 songs. It's a siren. If I hear that, I've never got bored of it. I've heard it umpteen times.
And it's not even metal.
It's brilliant. Well, my notes here. This record had keyboards in it from the band that had the best guitarist in the world.
Yeah, but who was playing the keyboards?
That's what people resented about it, wasn't it?
World.
Yeah. And he was playing the keyboards.
Yeah.
But apparently that Jump had been kicking around for years, and David Lee Roth didn't want it on an album. Diver Down was supposed to have it on, and David Lee Roth vetoed it. Yeah, so eventually you got it on.
It's brilliant, and as Dill, you just said, "Oh Wait," it's an absolute banging. Air drums to "Oh Wait," you cannot beat. So yeah, no, it's an absolute banging record. This
Hot for Teacher's enough to make any drummer give up, take up the bass.
It's tricky not to hear Hot for Teacher and think, I'm not going to keep mentioning Donington 84, but everyone, when you hear the top, I don't know, hear that, you just think of Donington, clips.
David Roth still played that in his set, a Hot for Teacher.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to go to the Taylor Hawkins tribute show last year. And Wolfie Van Halen came out to Hot for Teacher. Yeah. Josh Freese, who's now Foo Fighters drummer. Oh my God, I was
nailed it.
Booing with happiness. It was brilliant. It was absolutely amazing. Do you know what? Arguably with the first album, the best album they ever made, in my opinion. This and Van Halen one. But anyway, that's
first and last.
Okay, Gaps, over to you.
Yeah, here we go. So we're going to go with this one from Marillion. For me, it's the pinnacle of their career. Gav got me into this band, and he did a tape of this album for me, which I played on my Walkman ceaselessly as I was on holiday this particular year. 7 songs on this album. I think there were 6 on the first album, so they've gone up 1 song. But still, there's 4 songs over 6 minutes on this album. And yeah, I mean, it's great. It's the first album with Ian Mosley, who's the drummer, who's still in the band today.
Brilliant.
Yeah, there you go. That's from the drummer of the group. The cover is iconic. I mean, just look at it. The cover is amazing, isn't it? I mean, what do we all say? Do we say Fugazi? We say Fugazi, don't we? In America, they probably say Fugazi, but
Fugazi.
We all say Fugazi. I don't actually know what it means, but it's still iconic, whatever it is.
It means
there's some. Oh, does it? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Something that they used to. Apparently, the American troops said in Vietnam.
Ah, right.
Fugazi. Apparently.
Okay, cool. Assassin, Punch and Judy was the first single off the album. So what I first heard, and then Assassin, which is a very short version of the actual song on the album, which is so good. But the standouts for me on this album are Incubus, which is probably the greatest Marillion song of all time, and Fugazi itself, the title track. But this was just Fish writing lyrics. It's just poetic majesty. In fact, I haven't got the words to say how good the lyrics are on this album. It's just absolutely fantastic. Can't fault it in any way. There's a lot of people that don't like a few of these tracks. She Chameleon, for example, but I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. It's a slow down from some of the other stuff on there. But then you get into Incubus, which is great, and Fugazi, the closer, which is just it's just fantastic. I know Gav's going to say something about this.
Yeah, it goes without saying. I love it, and I love everything about it, and I love this whole era. But I think at the time, I thought it was less commercial than the first album. I liked it less originally because of that. It took a lot of repeat listening to get into it, and I think that's what you like about it, isn't it? That it's harder. It's harder to get into, but more rewarding when you do. And the lyrics really take over because a lot of the music's quite simplistic. It's just kind of wafting while you listen and understand what's going on.
Can I just take a second to just revel in the PowerAge that we were living in? Because I might have got a bit of piss taken out of me for putting up an actual rock record in Bryan Adams. We've got Marillion here, which some people watching this will say, well, that's not metal. I struggle to say it's rock. It's prog, obviously, prog rock. Yeah. And then the next one that Gappy is going to come on to, the ultimate metal gods. I just think it's amazing, and we really did straddle these genres, didn't we? With Metallica as well. So a hell of a year for these bands of so many different genres that we're all putting in the PowerAge. So
yeah,
I like this record. I like Marillion, and yeah, it's a good one.
Cool. Next one, Gaps.
What can you say about this record? It's the Priest's 9th studio offering, and it's my favourite Judas Priest album, if not of the 80s. Stained Class runs it a close second for me, but I absolutely adore this album. It starts with a fantastic Free Will Burning. You've got Jawbreaker, which is flawless. Dual guitar playing in that is just absolutely immense. You got Rock Hard, Ride Free next, which maybe a lot of people don't like, but then it goes into probably one of the greatest metal songs the world has ever known in the Sentinel to end side one, which is, I listened to it earlier, but there's nothing you can say about it. If you've never heard it, then you really are missing out because this is absolutely fantastic. Side 2 does let it down slightly, maybe, but Some Heads Are Gonna Roll, written by who was that written by? Rob Halligan Jr. He's an American songwriter. He'd also done Take These Chains off of Screaming for Vengeance. But Some Heads Are Gonna Roll has got the best 2 guitar solos by both players, KK and Glenn. Glenn first, then KK. two best solos they've ever done on that record. I challenge you to go back and listen to that and not think they're the two best solos they've ever done. Absolutely amazing. And it ends with Heavy Duty, which is kind of a strange one, but it does give you the Defenders of the Faith lyric in it, which is quite strange because obviously there's nothing on the album which says Defenders of the Faith apart from that lyric in the final track. But everything about it is brilliant. The production is brilliant, and it stands the test of time. This album, it really does. It's just fantastic. I could listen to it again in 10 minutes' time, and I still think it was brilliant.
Okay, cool, Gav.
Oh well, I saw them on this tour, so just massively special place in my heart. They were bloody brilliant. They're one of the best eras, I think. You know, the look and the songs they chose from. So there's still a few old songs coming in. Had that T-shirt, had a grey T-shirt with this on, and a grey sweatshirt with this on when I was just a wee nipper. I love it.
Yeah, I remember that grey T-shirt.
Yeah.
Okay, Jam.
Gav, you loved your sweatshirt, didn't you, Gav? From the
Love the sweatshirt.
Gavster.
Yeah.
What about the single and the video, Free Will Burning, ahead of the game, were they? They had the guy playing the video game or whatever.
Yeah.
Free Will Burning. Defenders of the Faith is an immense title from a band that proclaimed themselves as heavy metal and never
exactly.
I'm proud of it.
Heavy metal. And they just carried on the same thing. Yeah, so no, really good. Really good. I love this album. Really good album. I really like to hear some heads are going to roll. But yeah, that's good.
Another one where we saw them on TV as well around this time because they were on the Tube, weren't they?
They were, yeah.
And they did Free Will Burning.
They'd released a video as well at Judas Priest Live, which I can't remember where it was filmed, but I had that video, and me and Cruikshank used to just sit there constantly watching this.
That was later. That was the Turbo Tour.
Yeah, it was. No, it was earlier than that. I'm sure it was. I'll double check, but I'm sure it was earlier.
It was 83.
Oh, you mean you mean the video, not Priest Live. You mean Judas Priest Live?
Yeah, the video.
83.
Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Yeah.
Okay, next one.
Yeah, we're going to my final offering. It's the return of Deep Purple Mark II. Massive Rainbow fan. I was really looking forward to seeing what Richie could do after Bent Out of Shape, the Rainbow album on the previous year. And this album is just great. There's 8 songs. They produced it really, really well. The 2 singles off the album are probably the best songs. You got these Knocking at Your Back Door, which is the opener to side 1, and Perfect Strangers, the opener to side 2. Being 14, I had literally no clue what knocking at your back door meant back in those days. I think we've all got a clue what it actually means now. There's some other great tracks on here as well. I mean, Nobody's Home, Gypsy's Kiss, which is unbelievably brilliant. Produced by Roger Glover, who'd done the previous 4 Rainbow albums. So he was not only a brilliant bass player, but he's great at producing records. Mm-hmm. And if you've never heard of Richie Blackmore's solo, the actual ballad on this album, Wasted Sunsets, is probably Richie's, certainly in my opinion, Richie's finest work for a very, very long time.
Anything to add, guys?
Yeah, anything to add, please?
Well, if you look at our Nebworth video, we covered this album quite a bit there as well, because we saw them on this tour, or not tour, we saw them at the festival supporting this album, and they were bloody brilliant, despite the rain. So yeah, it's a good moment in time for us as a
And as you said, perfect. The title track and Knocking at Your Back Door, 2 absolute banging songs. For me, the rest of the record doesn't live up to those 2. They are the highlights, but I love them dearly, and that's why I do tend to go back to this record and I play the tracks. I don't play the whole record. Them and Nobody's Home, but it's really good.
Okay, excellent. That's our curated 12. We picked 3 each, and that's what we brought. And there's a real mix there, as Jam has already said. I think there are genres within a genre, which I think shows the breadth of rock and metal at the time, and that continued through the 80s, which we'll continue to cover. So let's go to the best of the rest, Gav. Just before we get onto a couple of these, if I was picking my 12, this one would definitely have been made it, which is Hanover Rocks, 2 Steps from the Moon. This copy was an original copy with the book and the cartoon on the outside of the little booklet as well, which is really cool. Hanover Rocks were different, and they really they spawned a generation of different type of bands, but they were great. And Gavin and I were lucky enough to go and see Mike Monroe and Sam Yaffa in a few months back, and they were brilliant. They were absolutely fantastic. But do you want to cover off the albums, Gav?
Well, yeah, just a bunch of stuff that could and should be in the 12 if we could fit them in. Gary Moore, I think this is my favourite Gary Moore album.
Yeah,
This and the Live. So Victims of the Future. It's great sound on this album, great songs. And my other highlight would be Anthrax. Although I didn't know them at the time, I didn't know this album at the time, but it's a crazy album.
It's a banger.
Yeah.
it is.
And do you guys want to cover off the
Well,
others?
I got Twisted Sister, Stay Hungry when it came out.
Yeah.
And I went to see Twisted Sister in '84 at Oxford. I was on the front row. They were awesome. It's one of the abiding memories I've ever got of seeing a live band. They actually came on to It's a Long Way from the Top from AC/DC, and Eddie Fingers Ojeda actually started playing along to it as he was walking on stage, and it was absolutely amazing. It was the loudest gig I've ever been to as well, but it might have something to do with the fact I was stood right in front of the PA.
Okay, cool. We've got
This, for me, unfortunately, the Kiss record was for me the first put. We covered this in a pod, so again, refer to that. But for me, it's the first poor Kiss record. Y&T had gone at MTV wise, and they were rock and roll was going to save the world. They approached it from a different angle than Judas Priest, and that's a really good record in my book.
Okay, we've got some more Best of the Rest as well. One standout for me would be Wasp. There's not a bad song on that album. It's absolutely fantastic. And good packaging as well on that. And of course, it missed the song Animal because their record company refused to release it on the album. So that was, well, I can't understand why, frankly. Gav, any others you want to pick out?
Rising Force, Yngwie Malmsteen's my favourite of his. I love a couple of, 2 or 3 songs on that album, actually. That's the kind of sound that I prefer of his.
I remember being disappointed with the Foreigner album. Firstly, because I had a clunky album title that I couldn't really say at the time because I was a lad. And it just seemed a little bit, but it had a couple of really good tracks on it. But a big up for Lee Aaron there, because whenever we saw her live, I thought she was lush. I mean, I thought she was awesome.
Well, we saw her in 1987 at Reading.
Yeah, we saw her. Yeah, we did see her live. Yeah, and she was great. She was really good.
She was actually really, really good. And she was like, at the time, she was for me, she was the poster girl in Kerrang and that.
She's absolutely gorgeous.
She was gorgeous, but also she rocked really well. She had a really great voice, and she churned out some really decent tunes.
She was on ECT as well, wasn't she?
Yes.
Yeah, she was.
So that would be next year. 85 ECT, wasn't it?
Yeah. In a red leotard.
Yeah.
I don't remember that one.
You don't remember that at all.
You remember the songs more than the leotard, I'm sure.
Yeah, he does. The lyrics. Right, on that bombshell, let's just recap on the 12 classics that we picked. So, Gaps, if you can just have a quick recap on those 12.
Yeah, well, you can check them out. I mean, look, it's everything there is just. I mean, what can you say? We've covered the gamut of the rock genre.
Brilliant, another excellent year. Right, so let's get the drums rolling. Let's keep you. We'll take you out of suspense. We've got our resident Tommy Vance.
Well, I think. Thank you very much. TV on the radio. Now, this was the very hardest task we've had. I imagine you're all going to agree with this because this is the official top 5 greatest albums of 1984 from Tales from the PowerAge. Here they are, Rock You Like a Hurricane. It's the Scorpions kicking off our chart here at number 5. Whoa, hey you, who said that? Oh, it's Van Halen at number 4 with 1984. So Let It Be Written, Let It Be Done. It's Metallica with Ride the Lightning at number 3 in the official top 5 albums of 1984 from Tales from the PowerAge. They were second in 1980. They claimed top spot in 82. This time around, it's second for the metal gods themselves. Judas Priest at number 2 with Defenders of the Faith. Which can only mean that rolling, turning, diving its way into number 1. Yeah, one of the greatest records of all time. It's Iron Maiden with the mighty Power Slave. Over to you, Dill.
Can't argue with that.
Brilliant. Okay, well, I don't think you could argue with that. That is Maiden make number 1 at last, so well done to Steve, Bruce, and the boys. Well deserved. What a brilliant album. Stands the test of time, but so did the other 5 in the top 5. And there are so many good records. And even with the best of the rest, you could have still got a really decent top 5 from that. So, as always, please like, subscribe, get involved. Tell us what your top 5 would be. Give us your memories from 1984. We've all got really great memories from that year. It was a brilliant period, and we were really lucky to be around at that time. So there's the top 5. Maiden through to Scorps. You'd be happy to have those 5 albums in your collection for sure. And if you haven't, go and get them.
Go buy them.
Go and buy them. Okay, right. So that's it for our 1984 review. I'd like to just bring to your attention a new channel that we've got that we've been building up as our sister channel for a while. That's Tales from the PowerAge Live. It's videos from the gigs that we go to, where we travel around. We take 1 or 2 vids per gig, and we share them with you. Some amazing stuff on there. Some that has been watched loads, some not so much. If you've got a spare couple of hours or a few hours, get yourself in front of the TV on your couch with a JD and Coke and enjoy.
And subscribe.
Subscribe.
It's a separate subscribe.
Yes, it is. It's all good. So, as always, please ring the bell, hit the house bell, subscribe, like, get involved. You can find us on Facebook on Tales from the PowerAge. You can find us on Twitter on Tales from the PowerAge at TFTPA. And look, send us some messages. We have some great chats and involvement through Twitter. We love that. You can find us online at www.talesfromthepowerage.com. And I would like to say that website has recently been updated. So hopefully you enjoy that. And some brilliant pictures of us, more recently at Michael Schenker gig. So if you really haven't got anything better to do with your life, go on there and have a look at us drinking at Michael Schenker. If you want merch, you can get that from redbubble.com merchandise at TFTPA. So that's it from us. Hope you've enjoyed that. Next is 1985, I think, if we're going to do this chronologically. Maybe we just...
I think it is.
1989.
At some point.
Anyway, cheers, guys. See you later.
Cheers.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Love you all.
Later.